And you always knew the bad news was coming with Todd, because he'd go, here's the thing. And he said, we're going to lose the orchestra in Dresden, and we have to do all of the conducting first. I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society, and I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is very useless.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' habit of bullying their colleagues in Hollywood didn't start, and definitely won't end, with the Justin Baldoni case, and now Cate Blanchett has just spilled all the tea in a scalding new interview. For someone like Cate Blanchett to speak up, you know it's worse than we ever imagined. Blake didn't just try to hijack Cate's legacy. Allegedly, she straight up stole it and spat in Cate's face when confronted. But in true Blanchett fashion, she didn't raise her voice or throw a tantrum. Instead, she quietly plotted a subtle yet devastating revenge. And now it looks like Cate might finally be the one to put an end to Blake and Ryan's toxic behavior for good. Let's get into it.
You know, it's sometimes good to be really simple. I mean, the piece is this fantastic thing. It's just, don't try and be original. Just be simple.
Anyone who knows Cate Blanchett knows that she and Channel go together like peanut butter and jam. For over a decade, Cate has been the face of the brand, and it's a partnership that has worked flawlessly because she isn't just your average celebrity actress. She's a symbol of class, prestige, and heritage. Channel embodies those same values, which is why Cate has long been invited to private fittings and couture shows. In 2021, she signed a multi-season contract to be the face of Channel's Women in Cinema campaign. As part of the campaign, Channel commissioned a legacy short film written by Cate's husband, Andrew Upton. It was a minimalist black and white piece starring just two women, telling a story with no dialogue, pure cinema through expression and movement. The contracts were signed, the film was approved, and everything was in place. But when the big premiere day finally arrived, guess who showed up? None other than Blake Lively.
All right, Blake Lively is out and about in the UK promoting her One Simple Favor, right? Is that a name? Yep, she's out. She's wearing this Chanel head to toe V. Here's the look in the runway.
This left many fans scratching their heads. What was Blake doing there? What happened to Cate? Had the deal fallen through? As it turns out, there was no falling out between Cate and Channel, no scandal, no disagreements, just pure calculated sabotage. According to insiders, someone from Chanel reached out to Cate's team and vaguely said the campaign direction had changed. In industry speak, that's the polite way of saying, you've been quietly replaced. Cate was blindsided. There had been no creative disputes, no delays, nothing to suggest a problem. But suddenly, Blake Lively was unveiled as the new face of the Women in Cinema campaign. And to twist the knife even deeper, Channel didn't even bother scrapping Cate's original concept. They just added a few sparkles, pasted on some generic inspirational quotes, slapped on a bold red lip, and called it Blake's campaign.
No, look how pretty. They match my outfit. Look at those nails. Aren't they incredible? Amazing. I had time for that. I literally did it while at work. It was a little chaotic. It was worth it. Hello.
Even the backstage crew working on the campaign were stunned that Cate had been replaced. One stylist allegedly leaked texts claiming Blake was never meant to be involved. Her team had simply offered a cross-platform deal Channel couldn't ignore. But pulling Cate like that, it was bold, maybe too bold. And it didn't stop there. Blake and her PR machine allegedly rolled out a whole campaign framing Cate as outdated, while Blake was portrayed as the one swooping in to save Channel from irrelevance. In March 2023, Channel hosted a private Paris dinner for an elite group of legacy actresses, directors, and creatives. Cate had RSVP'd months prior and was supposed to debut her husband Andrew Upton's short film during the event. But 2 weeks before the dinner, Channel announced Blake as the guest of honor and quietly replaced Cate's film with Blake's new theme, cross-platform storytelling through beauty, film, and wellness. Cate, ever the professional, didn't back out. She arrived with grace, but things soured quickly. Blake was overheard at a nearby table telling a senior Channel creative, "That script was beautiful, but a little outdated, right?" The creative allegedly laughed and replied, "You mean Andrew's script?" Didn't realize it was her husband's. But legacy doesn't sell to Gen Z. Cate heard the whole exchange. She didn't make a scene, but she was visibly shaken. Then came April 2023. The Blake X Channel X Netflix campaign launched, but a slip-up exposed everything. A British fashion magazine accidentally published a previously cleared feature from Cate's era, referencing Andrew's film and Cate's creative involvement. It stayed live for just 3 hours, but that was enough. Screenshots spread like wildfire. Public outrage exploded. People accused Blake of hijacking Cate's legacy and silencing her to cover it up. Cate never responded directly, but weeks later, during a low-profile humanitarian award speech in Berlin, she dropped a now-deleted zinger caught on video. There's a difference between honoring a story and owning it like it was always yours. One builds legacy, the other builds ego. The internet lit up. Blake's team scrambled, but underestimating Cate Blanchett's loyal fan base proved to be their fatal mistake. A scheduled YouTube fashion talk show appearance was suddenly canceled, officially due to scheduling conflicts. But leaked footage showed the host rehearsing an intro that teased Blake about the Cate Blanchett drama. Canceling may have saved Blake from a PR disaster, but the damage was already done. Blake's polished image had begun to unravel one stitch at a time. Meanwhile, Cate didn't scheme, retaliate, or gloat. She just quietly moved on to her next project, leaving behind the chaos and proving that real legacy doesn't need glitter to shine.
About lunch. And the more I do in a way, I think the less I know. And I've had a very eclectic and strange career that has taken me many places. But perhaps if there's any connective tissue in my career, it's the desire to know, the quest to unlock what it means to be human, that strange nub of fearful, joyful uncertainty that it is to be a human being, to live a creative life fueled with uncertainty and doubt. It's the DNA of how you begin any project. You have to humble yourself and say, I don't know. Yes.
In June 2023, Cate and her husband Andrew premiered an original two-person play at the Sydney Theatre Company. The play was written entirely by Andrew and directed by Cate, but it wasn't some big, splashy affair. They were trying to make a comeback after the channel betrayal. In fact, there was no PR campaign leading up to the premiere at all. The only people in attendance were devoted film lovers, theater buffs, and genuine fans of the craft. But here's the kicker. The play's original title was reportedly lines that weren't meant to be read, but it was later changed to the credit. That switch didn't go unnoticed. Many interpreted it as a subtle yet unmistakable jab at Blake Lively, who had allegedly failed to give Cate proper credit after swooping in and stealing her campaign concept.
Well, I always approach every role as a woman because I am. I don't really think about that. I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society. I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is a very useless emotion. I don't know what you do with that. But shame and regret and the lessons one can learn from that are, I think, are very powerful.
Cate handled the Blake and Channel situation with the kind of quiet grace that many actresses either don't possess or can't afford to show. It's wild because a lot of people agreed Blake had clearly crossed the line by allegedly trying to bully and silence Cate. But what most didn't realize at the time was that Cate wasn't the first, or the only person Blake had treated this way. Blake has a well-documented history of allegedly bullying co-stars and crew members, especially when she felt overshadowed. She's been accused of trying to steal the spotlight even when it wasn't her moment, and making inappropriate jokes that made others uncomfortable. When her so-called humor didn't land, she would reportedly accuse others of being uptight or rude. One resurfaced interview clip that's been going viral lately shows this exact dynamic between Blake and her Gossip Girl co-star Leighton Meester. Though they played best friends on screen, their real-life relationship was allegedly tense. In the clip, Blake joked about Leighton being born in prison and bizarrely compared their other co-stars to monkeys in a cage.
There was an article recently saying that Leighton and I were frenemies. And it's frenemies. Frenemies? Yeah, we're friends, but we're also enemies. And it's really strange because they always want to pit women against each other. You don't hear about like Hen and Chase hating each other and being jealous and competitive.
2 seconds later. I think I'm just brunette because of the book. And that,
Everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway. A moment by me.
Remember.
There was another promise was I no pet monkey. The Huck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them. Lord have mercy.
your wardrobe? That is important. Very good.
Very important.
This is wardrobe.
This is wardrobe. This was on the return rack. I think it was hers. So I had to go and slip some cash to wear it today.
It was a terrible, almost mean-spirited joke, and you could tell from the body language of the co-stars that they didn't appreciate Blake's comments at all. But as usual, they just chalked it up to Blake being good old Blake and moved on. However, it would later come out that Blake had allegedly been picking on Leighton Meester throughout their time working together on Gossip Girl. In 2017, the show's executive producer Joshua Safran subtly spilled the tea, revealing that Blake and Leighton didn't get along on set. Joshua tried to downplay it by saying the two women simply had different personalities. But after that viral interview clip, fans stopped buying the idea that Blake was just a funny and quirky girl. Another co-star, Armie Hammer, once revealed that Blake acted like a total diva on set. Everything had to be done her way, and she would throw tantrums over the smallest inconvenience. In an interview with Andy Cohen, Armie finally opened up about how horrible it was working with Blake Lively and the real reason he left Gossip Girl. Though he tried to keep things diplomatic, it was obvious that his experience with Blake had left him genuinely traumatized.
Hi, the question for me on Gossip Girl. Who was the biggest diva on set?
Biggest diva on set of Gossip.
You can say it because it's so far away from where you are now. That show's over. I suggest that you do not pass on another question.
I wish I could take all of my passes back and use them all right now. Yeah.
Let me just say that was a tough show to film, and I didn't end up actually filming all of the episodes I was supposed to because it was such a tough film.
Really? Literally, you said, get me out of this.
It was also like, get him out of here. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It just literally was that. Whose love interest were you?
I was Blake Lively.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Sounds like she was the problem.
It sure does, Sophie.
No, that's not what I'm
That's
saying.
exactly what I was thinking.
Don't put words into his mouth.
Yeah. Because my foot is already there.
No, it is not.
No,
Hey.
yeah, continue. Sorry, it's your show.
No, please, you continue.
No, go ahead.
No, I like it.
Sorry.
Need another drink.
Hey, Katie.
Hey, y'all are cracking me up.
Oh, and don't even get me started on the rumors that have been swirling for years. When Blake doesn't like a particular actor, she allegedly makes sure everyone else has a problem with that person too. Ever wonder why Penn Badley had such a hard time fitting in on the Gossip Girl set? According to insiders, Blake had reportedly told directors and cast members from day one that Penn was difficult to work with and that they shouldn't get too close to him. It took weeks before Penn was able to break the ice, but once other cast members warmed up to him, they realized he was nothing like Blake had described. So when Justin Baldoni came forward with his own story about Blake trying to kick him out of the director's chair, people were shocked, but not surprised. According to reports, Blake didn't just try to steal the spotlight from Justin. She allegedly went as far as rewriting scenes without his permission. And when he refused to use her version of the script, she allegedly threatened him with her dragons, her bestie Taylor Swift, and her husband Ryan Reynolds.
We're just having strokes with us, so I'm hoping to see you back in the double duty role.
I think there are better people for that one.
Justin.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think. So, yeah.
Justin said we're going to be ready to direct the next one, but perhaps Blake would. Is that something that you would entertain?
Oh, absolutely. I think that whoever decides to take charge of the next one would do it justice. You know, it's a lot of people to get the same schedules together again, so we'll see.
Oh, absolutely. She's so capable of that.
She is a powerhouse. She could do literally anything.
But that's not even the wildest part. Allegedly, Blake went behind Justin Baldoni's back and tried to convince Colleen Hoover to give her the director role for the next film before any lawsuits were even filed. Justin's contract clearly states he has the rights to direct every part of the series unless he's involved in a morally damaging scandal. So if Blake really made that move early, it's looking super shady. Meanwhile, Cate Blanchett refused to be sidelined, especially by someone like Blake. But what do you think? Was Cate too classy for her own good? Is this the beginning of Blake's downfall? Let us know in the comments and stick around for what's coming next. It's even messier.